Hello, welcome to Story Hour with Miss Barbara. This is a story of a rabbit, a cottontail rabbit, and I found it in a book by Mr. Ernest Thompson Seton called Wild Animals I Have Known. This is just the introduction to the story of Raggylug, a cottontail rabbit. Raggylug, or Rag, was the name of a young cottontail rabbit. It was given him from his torn and ragged ear, a life mark that he got in his first adventure. He lived with his mother in Oliphant Swamp, where this is Mr. Thompson Seton speaking, made their acquaintance. In 100 different ways, the little bits of proof and scraps of truth that at length enabled me to write this story. Those who do not know the animals well may think I have humanized them, but those who have lived so near them as to know somewhat of their ways and minds will not think so. Truly, rabbits have no speech as we understand it, but they have a way of conveying ideas by a system of sounds, signs, scents, whisker touches, movements, and example that answers the purpose of speech. And it must be remembered that though in telling this story, I freely translate from rabbit into English, I repeat nothing they did not say. So this is the story of how Raggylug got his name. And I did some paintings that I think convey this story. And one of them is what I would think this looks like his mother, Molly Cottontail. Let's see, I got to get this the right direction. There we go. Molly Cottontail, as she might have looked when she came back after foraging to check on her little baby, looking in the nest. This is what I suppose she was expecting to find. Oops, there we go. What she was expecting to find. Kind of a dream of a little baby bunny. But this is what Molly really found. And it's my little painting of Raggylug with his torn ear. Let's see, get it this way. There we go. There he is. There. Okay. And that's Raggylug with his torn ear. And this is the story of how that happened. I'll just put that up there. Let's see. The rank swamp grass bent over and concealed the snug nest where Raggylug's mother had hidden him. She had partly covered him with some of the bedding, and as always, her last warning was to lie low and say nothing, whatever happens. Though tucked in bed, he was wide awake, and his bright eyes were taking in that part of his little green world that was straight above. A blue jay and a red squirrel, two notorious thieves, were loudly berating each other for stealing. At one moment, Rag's home bush was the center of their fight. A yellow warbler caught a blue butterfly but 6 inches from his nose. And a scarlet and black ladybug serenely waved her knobbed feelers, took a long walk up one grass blade and down another, and across the nest and over Rag's face, and yet He never moved, nor even winked. After a while, he heard a strange rustling of the leaves in the near thicket. It was an odd, continuous sound, and though it went this way and that way and came ever nearer, there was no patter of feet with it. Rag had lived his whole life in the swamp. He was 3 weeks old, and yet had never heard anything like this. Of course, his curiosity was greatly aroused. His mother had cautioned him to lie low, but that was understood to be in case of danger, and this strange sound without footfalls could not be anything to fear. The low rasping went past close at hand, then to the right, then back, and seemed going away. Rag felt he knew what he was about. He wasn't a baby. It was his duty to learn what it was. He slowly raised his roly-poly body on his short, fluffy legs, lifted his little round head above the covering of his nest, and peeped out into the woods. The sound had ceased as soon as he moved. He saw nothing, so took one step forward to a clear view and instantly found himself face to face with an enormous black serpent. "Mammy!" he screamed in mortal terror as the monster darted at him. With all the strength of his tiny limbs, he tried to run, but in a flash, the snake had him by one ear and whipped around him with his coils to gloat over the helpless little furry bunny he had secured for dinner. "Mammy! Mammy!" gasped poor little Raggylug as the cruel monster began slowly choking him to death. Very soon the little one's cry would have ceased, but bounding through the woods, straight as an arrow, came Mammy. No longer a shy, helpless little Molly Cottontail, ready to fly from a shadow, the mother's love was strong in her. The cry of her baby had filled her with the courage of a hero. And hop, she went over that horrible reptile. Whack, she struck down at him with her sharp hind claws as she passed, giving him such a stinging blow that he squirmed with pain and hissed with anger. "Mammy!" came feebly from the little one, and Mammy came leaping again and again and struck harder and fiercer until the loathsome reptile let go the little one's ear and tried to bite the old one as she leaped over. But all he got was a mouthful of wool each time, and Molly's fierce blows began to tell as long bloody rips were torn in the black snake's scaly armor. Things were now looking bad for the snake, and bracing himself for the next charge, he lost his tight hold on baby Bunny, who at once wriggled out of the coils and away into the underbrush, breathless and terribly frightened, but unhurt, save that his left ear was much torn by the teeth of that dreadful serpent. Molly now had gained all she wanted. She had no notion of fighting for glory or revenge. Away she went into the woods, and the little one followed, the shining beacon of her snow-white tail, until she led him to a safe corner of the swamp. And so, that's the beginning of the story of Raggylug and how he got the nickname Rag. And we will continue the story in future sessions. That's all for now. Thanks for listening.